Shalom, I take all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us his word. Now I just want to talk about the chariots, and how it's a beautiful thing when you see these chariots in the sky because that's going to be, our redemption. That's our protection. Those are, the angels of the Most High, you know, looking down, and ultimately that's going to be, the elect's deliverance up out of here. And it's always a beautiful thing to see, those chariots when they show up at camp or throughout your everyday life. But they also going to come to bring, destruction, to our enemies as well. And that's a beautiful thing. Uh, the first scripture is Isaiah 31 and 5. As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. Yes, the Lord will defend Jerusalem, especially in these last days. He's defended Jerusalem throughout history. But in these last days, these chariots are going to defend Jerusalem again, wherever Israel's at, that's Jerusalem, wherever Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. It says, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending, he will deliver it. Passing over, he will preserve it. That's what we're looking forward to, man. That deliverance, being delivered up out of here, escaping this judgment, Lord will. But if you flip it in the NLT, it says, the Lord of heaven's armies will hover over Jerusalem and protect it like a bird protecting its nest. He will defend and save the city. He will pass over it and rescue it. It says he will hover over Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is a people over here right now, The true people of America, or the true people of Israel are in America. So that's why you see these chariots hovering. These chariots are showing themselves more and more all throughout the globe. But it's interesting that they use that word hover, because if you look up in Genesis, the first chapter, Genesis 1:1, in the beginning the powers created the heaven and the earth was out without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters. So if you look up that word, moved, Hebrew, it's rahap. And it's the hover. So that's how it's talking about, a chariot, chariots of fire, chariots of the Most High. And that word wasn't used in that scripture, but, in the definition or in the NLT, it said hover. So you're saying, it's talking about, the chariots of the Lord, man. The so-called UFOs, or IFOs is what they're calling it now. But yeah, the Lord is going to defend, Jerusalem, even going back to the time of Elisha. This is 2 Kings 6:15. And when the servant of the man of the Most High was risen early and gone forth, behold, an host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servants said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So yeah, man, these chariots are all over the place. We just can't see them. And they're ready. They're just waiting, for the elect to be sealed up. And that way those angels can let loose this destruction, man. Can work on the minds. That's why these angels can work on the minds. These were leaders to get this destruction popping off. But yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man. These chariots, they're all around, just waiting. You know, and they've always been there. Yeah. So yeah, they're here to deliver, protect, and they're also here for a curse. To our enemies. Is Zechariah 5:2. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off. As to this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off, as according to that side to it. So yeah, these chariots are also going to act as a curse, unto our enemies on this side, man. Uh, yeah, just the way and they're going to protect Israel, just the way they protected King David, you know, and that they were a curse unto his enemies. If you read that in Psalms 18:4, it says, "The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, and the snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon the Lord, and he cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears." So yeah, whatever distress or whatever future situation you may go through, or whatever you're going through now, cry upon the Lord, man. You always want to cry upon the Lord. And ask for that protection, man. Ask to be delivered, whatever situation that you're dealing with. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of the hills moved and were shaken because he was wroth. There went up smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, those thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yea, he sent out arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomforted them. Yeah, so these chariots shoot out lasers, man, and will discomfort, your enemies, man. And that's discomforted the enemies of King David. It's going to discomfort the enemies in this time, man. Lord willing, man. But you have to have that faith that those angels were there, just like Elisha. Elisha knew, he prayed. The Lord opened the eyes of that young man, that young servant. Just like the Lord prayed and had faith, the Lord opened up the eyes of that young servant, and he did. And he saw that horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha, and the mountain was full. The mountain was full of the horses, chariots of fire. They were all over the place. But you gotta have that faith, just like King David had the faith, Elisha had the faith, and you gotta have the faith, man, and believe that those chariots are out there, those angels are out there to protect us, man, in these last days, and to be a curse unto our enemies. This is Isaiah 66:15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Yeah, man, the slain of the Lord shall be many, man. It says like here, the Lord come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, man, just like here. In this movie, it's a screenshot of a movie of the world, the War of the Worlds. And you see these chariots blasting on the cities and kindling all this fire, man. And that's what's gonna happen in this time, man. But when you see that all this destruction taking place, look up. For your redemption draweth nigh. This is Luke 21:25, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and the stars upon the earth, distress of nations, with perplexity in the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of destruction out here, a lot of bad times, man. Time of Jacob's trouble, all hell breaking loose. People are gonna be having heart attacks. That's how scared they're gonna be. The mighty men shall cry there bitterly in those times, man. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Yeah, that big father shit, man. When Yahushua comes back. And when these things begin to come to pass, and look up, lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So that's the salvation that we're looking forward to with these chariots, and these chariots of fire. We're also looking to that curse, man. That destruction the Lord's going to dish out. Yeah, these angels going to dish out in that time as well, man, with these chariots. But yeah, I just want to do a video on the chariots, chariots of fire. With that, shalom.